All right, boys and girls and Wildcats of all ages. It is March Madness time, ladies and gentlemen. The Arizona Wildcats play tomorrow. They got the Akron Zips on deck, and we got Arizona Wildcat Corey Williams, Final Four member himself, on the pod in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. It's the AZ Wildcats podcast, folks.
Welcome in, guys, to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I am Damon Fairall with my guy Kevin Thomas, and we are in PHNX HQ on a lovely, beautiful Thursday morning, Kevin. Not used to doing Thursday pods, but it's a little bit of a different Thursday. It is the opening day of the March Madness tournament. Kevin, I know I'm pumped about it. I just woke up like it was Christmas morning. How are you feeling this morning, and how excited are you for some high quality basketball all day?
Hey man, look, I am feeling electric. I actually woke up late today. Eric Ruby, shout out to Eric Ruby. They're doing a 24-hour stream right now. He called me this morning because I was supposed to be in here at 9 a.m. for Creighton versus Louisville, and I overslept. And so he actually woke me up. But the first thing on my mind, Damon, was this tournament and this Akron matchup. So, I'm ready to talk ball, and we have a very special guest. Let's get right to it, Damon. We have a very special guest. Corey Williams will be joining us right now. Corey, how are we feeling? How are we doing? How's your Thursday going on this March Madness Eve?
Well, I'm at the office, but as you can tell by the decor, but I still got the games going on my iPad and on my phone. So I'm really working, but not really working. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the game. So, this is the best weekend of the year. Tons of basketball. If you love college basketball, it's a dream come true. Get you some snacks, get on the couch, wall-to-wall basketball 4 straight days. You love it.
Every other red-blooded American in this country is doing the same thing, Corey. In lieu of work, putting some basketball on and getting down to the actual nitty-gritty of things. But I want to start off here. You've obviously been a part of, multiple different, endings of seasons in your 4 years at Arizona. You were there for, a really good team that lost a game to Santa Clara. That probably shouldn't have. Steve Nash and the other team, but disappointing loss. You were also part of a Final Four and felt the triumph of that moment. I guess what do you feel about having been through those moments? What is different about that Final Four run than the first round losses when you look back on it?
Well, I think looking back, what's obvious is the mentality is more important than the talent. That's just the nature of the NCAA tournament. The mentality of your team is way more important than the actual talent you have, because if you have the talent, that's one thing. But, you're going to give runs, you're going to take runs. How does your team hold up in high pressure situations? Now, the NCAA tournament is not something that a college coach can replicate throughout the season. You can schedule as much as you want. You can go to hostile environments, but there's nothing like that neutral site game on a Thursday or Friday in a weird city you've never been in against a team you probably haven't played before, players you're not familiar with, officials you're not familiar with. You can't duplicate it. So you have to have a team that has the mentality of we're not going to be rattled. We've got something to play for. We've got a little bit of swag, a little bit of edge. Because when you add all those things into the mix, it's quite easy to get popped in the tournament, and we see it all year.
Yeah, and you kind of spoke to how important mentality is, especially in comparison to talent in March Madness. From the player's perspective, what has to be the mentality going into a tournament setting? Is it any different than the rest of the year? I know you spoke last night on McHale Madness a little bit. Check that out. About how sometimes when coaches change up the way they coach going into a tournament, it can actually have the opposite effect, and it can actually detract instead of add intensity. So what has to be the mentality, not only for Arizona, but for every player going into this tournament?
Well, the coaching staff, their job is to diffuse the pressure. You want to have a business as usual approach. However, everything in the universe is screaming, this is not business as usual. This is lose and your season is done. Cinderella, the tournament, it's this scary, mystical thing that happens where even the great teams play a bad 20 minutes and their season's over. So the coach want to create an atmosphere of calm, but for players, you have to create a sense of urgency. I think you want to apply pressure. You want to not sit around and wait for the favorite. We'll use the phrase underdog. You don't want to sit around and wait for the underdog to play bad. You want to go out and make them play bad. You don't want to sit around and wait for them to miss. You want to get steals and blocks and take the ball from so that you bury them in a sense. Because if you sit and wait for Cinderella to play bad, you're going to find yourself in a tight game with 4 minutes to go. That's just the nature of the beast. So, as from a player's mentality, you have to go impose your will in the tournament. Now, there's a lot to be said for foul trouble. No coach wants his key players getting early fouls in the tournament. That's what happened to us in '92. Chris Mills got 2 quick fouls, and it changed the way we as a team reacted. We still had enough firepower to mop the floor with them, but when he got in foul trouble, coach took him out, and everything was kind of like, okay, who's going to step up now? And our rhythm was off. So be aggressive, but don't get in foul trouble. That's the job of the coaching staff. But from the players' mentality, you have to make the underdog play poorly. You can't assume that they will. You can't hope that they will, because what I say, hope is not a strategy.
You mentioned foul trouble, Chris Mills getting in foul trouble in 92, and he hasn't really had problems with this all year long. But say a guy like Caleb Love gets into some foul trouble in the tournament. Does Arizona have that next guy who can step up and kind of take that pressure off of the team and step up in the moment, in your opinion?
In this particular game tomorrow, they don't need a next guy. They are better than Akron players 1 through 10. So if Caleb Love gets 2 fouls, there's still zero excuse for the rest of the team to not end up with 5 players in double figures and beat Akron by 20. That's just keeping it real. So if he is in foul trouble, think about it. Arizona's beat very good teams, much better than Akron, where Caleb Love didn't have an explosive performance. They've got tons of games on their schedule that they've won against better competition without Caleb going nuts for 25 or 30. So his foul trouble, if Caleb was a vocal leader, if if Caleb was a vocal leader, averaging 20 and played defense like KJ Lewis, then him being in foul trouble would be an issue. But the blocks come from Veesaar. The tough plays come from KJ. The threes come from Del Orso. The downhill drives come from Jaden Bradley. You take KJ completely out. I'm sorry, you could take Caleb completely out the mix. All that other stuff still needs to pop, regardless. So Arizona can't be that fragile to where they're one dimensional. But you're right. When a team leader goes to the bench, when the heart and soul of your defense goes to the bench, then you've got serious problems. Don't get me wrong about Caleb's importance, but it's not as important against a team like Akron.
Yeah, and you spoke to how Arizona is simply better than Akron at almost every level, talent perspective wise, right? But that does not mean that the Akron cannot get things done on the basketball court, right? So what are the things that Akron's going to have to do to try to get Arizona off their game, or rather, what do you think Akron's game plan will be to try to pull off an upset on Friday?
Well, Akron has to neutralize Arizona's athleticism, and they have to dictate and control the tempo. So what that screams to me is 2-3 zone and gimmick junk defenses. Maybe a box and one. Caleb has special rules. They're gonna hedge hard and trap him. I think they're gonna hedge hard and trap Jaden to keep him from getting downhill and creating. But when you don't have the horses, you got to find a way to duct tape and spit and glue and get to that final 5 minutes of the game where you're still hanging around. That's the job of a good coach. Adrenaline's going to see you through the first 10 minutes. I don't think anybody runs away from anybody in the opening 10 minutes of any tournament game. Just there's too much adrenaline. But that back 30 is where the great coaches find a way to neutralize you. You want to get out and run, we're going to walk it up. Every missed shot, we're going to chew 30 seconds off the clock. That's what I'm doing if I'm Akron. I'm not shooting quick. And any steals, turnovers, bad plays that Arizona makes, that play, it may not cost you points, but it's going to cost you 30 seconds. That's the mentality for Akron. How do we keep you from being athletic? We're not letting Jaden Bradley come down the lane and throw running lobs to Veesaar. We're not going to turn the ball over and get breakaway, tomahawk dunks from Caleb Love. We have to neutralize the athleticism, and we have to slow the game down and let that clock burn. The clock is your friend if you're the Akron Zips. Let that clock go. Let's get this game as short as possible. We would love to be in a 57-55 game with a minute 30 to go with Arizona. How do we get there? Let the clock run. Don't foul anybody. Defensive stops, even if we just trade misses for 4 minutes, that's fine too. That's the anatomy of an upset. That's how you pull off an upset in a tournament.
You mentioned there, and I think you kind of gave your answer to this question already, but there's that kind of angle of contrasting styles versus similar styles when you got like a team, an upset bid, upset on the horizon potentially versus a higher seed, Arizona going up against Akron. And Akron, you're basically saying that you think that they should slow it down. They like to run. They're a fast up-tempo team, similar to Arizona. You think that the best method for an Akron team would be to just completely flip that on its head and go into make themselves a much slower tempo offense.
They like to run in the MAC. Let's not get it twisted, bro. They're not running. They're running in the MAC against those guys. They're not running like people running the Big 12, like people running the SEC. It's two different levels of running. Y'all run in the MAC is a light jog in the Big 12. You really don't get out with these dudes because Jaden Bradley is that guy. Caleb Love is that guy. Carter Bryant will cock it back to the cheerleader section and dunk it on you. You're not trying to uncork that bottle. So your version of up-tempo in the MAC, 17-1, that's cool. You won a lot of games. We got to respect that. But let's keep it 100. Houston gets up and down. Iowa State gets up and down. Arizona gets up. Like, we're talking about a different level of running. You just simply don't have the horses to let Arizona play open court basketball. They'll rip you to shreds. They got NBA level athletes almost at every position. You don't want loose balls. You don't want live ball turnovers against Arizona. You're not pushing the ball up the court and shooting a 3, 8 seconds into a possession. You don't want to track me when they can go 9 deep and every one of them is better than you. It's interesting because the narrative is, they score 84 points a game in the MAC. What are they scoring in the Big 12 per game?
Probably
60?
not a lot. Yeah.
Maybe. These are the things that are the realities. And I think this is where Arizona's strength of schedule is going to pay off because, we like to run. You ain't trying to run tomorrow. Not with us. We used to have a saying back in the day, in the church, your arms are too short to box with God. That's how your legs is too short to run with Arizona. You don't want to do that, bro. Don't kill yourself. Come out, play good basketball, play keep away. You have to play keep away because here's the problem. When Caleb misses, when Veesaar misses, when Jaden Bradley misses, nobody has been able to box out Thanos all season. Talking about Tobe Awaka.
Thanos.
He weighs twice as much as you can put two guys together and Toby's still stronger than both of them. So you've got problems that you have to hide. You have to box out. You can't let guys get open looks. You can't you got so many things that have to go right in this game for you to hang around against Arizona. You'd be a fool to try to ratchet up the tempo and pace. You don't want a ton of shot attempts against Arizona. You want that 55, 60-point game because you can win that game. If every possession is like gold and you can't mess up and you can put the pressure on Arizona to play perfect, then you got a shot. But if you increase the possessions and you increase the shots, it's like Novocaine. It's going to work. Just give it time. You're going to lose. So to answer your question, I think They have a reputation for playing up tempo, but I think we as analysts, myself as an analyst, I have to make the clear distinction between the MAC and the Big 12. So what you've been doing, and that's the other thing about the tournament, your bread and butter, what you've been doing, it's weird when what you're doing don't work no more. Well, this is the play where we do the stagger screen in the back door and we get the layup, and then you do that and you get it, and Veesaar throws it into the cheerleading section. And that's been your bread and butter backdoor play all season. And now you're looking at coach and you're in a term like, yo, this stuff don't work against them. They're bigger, they're better, they're stronger, they're faster. What are we going to do next? And I can tell you right now, Nate Johnson will have to have more than 14 points to beat Arizona. He has to. I know he may not want to come out and go for 25 or 30, but how many dogs do they have that can get double digits against elite defenders? Jaden Bradley's an elite defender. Carter Bryant is a pretty solid defender. You know what I mean? Veesaar blocks shots. Toby's is an immovable object. Trey Townsend is solid. Like, who do you have that can get you 25 points against Arizona? Because you're going to need at least two. I don't know who that's going to be. And I'm not trying to jinx Arizona. I'm just saying, from the 30 games of basketball I've seen, Akron has some serious matchup problems. Now, don't get me wrong. Momentum is a funny thing. They come out, hit their first few shots, guys start feeling good. That's what the tournament is about. That's why it's crazy. But for Arizona, you have to feast on your opponent's deficiencies. You can't just sit back and wait for them to collapse or fall apart. Oh, we'll get them in the second half. No. It's like that fighter where they say, oh, he has a puncher's chance. Stay away from his uppercut, because if he hits you with that, it goes out the window. If you're Akron, you're trying to stay away from that knockout blow, that 8-0 run. You know what I mean? Back-to-back Caleb Love threes, and then a dunk from Veesaar and timeout, and now what? You know what I mean? You're trying to stay away from that knockout blow if you're Akron. And there's a lot of ways you can do it. I mean, the game's on TV, tons of TV timeouts. Control the tempo, slow it down, and see if you can get a flat Arizona to kind of be sleepwalking and just try to keep pace with them if you can create that type of atmosphere.
Corey, we've spoken a lot about what Akron needs to do in order to try to slow down Arizona. But March Madness, ultimately, as you've already alluded to, is about controlling what you can control in a basketball game, right? So what does Arizona have to do to get out ahead early and make sure that Akron gets kind of put in a hole that they can't get themselves out of in this game?
You have to take people out of their stuff. And I know that the staff has done a good job of breaking down film and showing what they like to do. You're supposed to dribble over here. There's supposed to be a cross screen, and then you're going to do this. Okay, first of all, we're not going to let you dribble over here. Second of all, I'm not going to let you set this cross screen. You got to take them out of their stuff and put them in no man's land where they have to become creative, because now it's like, okay, we shut down your stuff. We took away your look. Now I need you to beat me one-on-one. What you got? I'm a higher level player than you. Show me that you can take me off the dribble and create something, because we shut your whole set down. None of that's happening. Force these guys to be athletic, to be spontaneous, to be one-on-one players, to abandon their sets. End of possession with less than 10 seconds on the shot clock. Can you defend without fouling? If you're Arizona, you need to apply defensive pressure in a way that makes these mid-major guys have to play hero ball. Because I guarantee you're not used to playing hero ball. And that's the worst feeling in the world, is to be down 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 points, have the ball 30 feet from the basket with 4 seconds to shoot, and you got to throw up a garbage shot against a good defender. And that just keeps happening, and the game starts to slip away. And the more that the score goes up, the more the desperation sets in. You're not used to playing from behind. You're not used to coming down, chucking up shots and playing one-on-one. But guess what? We're going to force you to do that. We're going to take care of the ball. We're going to pound you inside. We're going to get up double digits, and we're going to make you beat us on some one-on-one ISO stuff. We're not going to sit back and let you run your stuff and get wide open looks and all that nice half-court stuff. No. Why sit around and let you do that? Arizona has the dogs that can put out 8 or 9. I would be surprised if Tommy doesn't go 9 deep in the first half. At least this is the game where you can go 9 deep in the first half because nobody you're putting out there has a player they can't guard. This ain't like Houston, where like you looking at the 7th or 8th player like, damn, if I put him in, they're gonna go at him. No, it's not high level like that. This is a game where everybody that goes out there in Arizona jersey can guard the guy across from them. So why
Conrad
not?
Martinez minutes? Conrad Martinez minutes, Corey?
You had to do that now. You named one guy. No. In this game, Conrad can get burned. He really can, and I think he will. You've got to play 2 games in a weekend. If the goal is to survive in advance, and if 9 guys get wet and you get a 10 or 12 or 15 point lead, mission accomplished. Let's go see what I think will be Oregon, because I think Oregon will handle Liberty. But yeah, Conrad, come in the game, run the offense, don't turn it over. We don't need you to score. We got guys that can score. Just come in, keep Jaden fresh for Sunday. Works for me. You know what I mean? That's the goal. But yeah, you've got to ratchet up the defensive pressure and make them uncomfortable. And Arizona has the depth. If everybody comes with a defensive mind state, then they should be in a good place. I know the staff is doing what their strengths are on film, so it's just a matter of executing.
Corey, what players in particular do you think have the opportunity to maybe step up in a big way tomorrow and kind of get off to the right footing in the first game of the NCAA tournament?
I would love to see Trey and Tobe with 10 points each at halftime, because you're talking about keeping Miles off of the car. You know what I mean? If your bigs can feast from the paint, and you get 20 out of each of them, and Arizona's up 36-18 at half or something like that, I'm like, that's perfect. We don't need hero ball from Caleb Love. We don't need Carter to make threes. We don't need KJ doing his heroics. Like, we're okay, and our bigs are eating. Because guess what? Everybody who's about to play you is watching your last game. So now they're like, damn, well, now we got to factor in the bigs for Arizona. Oregon Scout is completely different. If the bigs dominate against Akron, you got to respect them. And I literally think if Arizona is to lose a game in the tournament, you'll easily be able to go to the box score and be like, what did the bigs do? You know what I mean? If you look at the bigs and they play well, Arizona probably won that game. They really did. There's very few opportunities where they played well and Arizona hasn't won. So I think, I would like to see a game where Arizona just what I like to call body blows. Ball in the paint, off the glass, just pound them where there's nothing they can do about it. I know you guys will be hyped and you're ready to play Arizona, but did you put on 25 pounds in the last week? Did you grow 6 inches in the last week? No, you didn't. So there's some stuff you just can't control. You're going to come out there and do your best, but look here. We're bigger and we're stronger. Unless you got some magic juice or whatever you take, there's nothing you can do about that. You can come out on fire and contest and shoot and defend and clap and knock down threes. And yeah, your guards can, but can your big men move Tobe out the way? Nah, they really can they shoot over Veesaar? Nah, they can't. So I'm gonna hit you with the guaranteed stuff. I'm not even gonna play with you. I'm gonna come out, get my bigs involved, let them eat, let them dominate the paint. And if we don't score a 3, if we don't knock down a 3 at all, and we still up 20, then damn it, that's the way we won this game. Let's move on. Keep it simple.
Well, Corey, before we get you out of here with a score prediction, I wanted to ask you one last fun question. What is your favorite March Madness memory? I know you got some crazy stories, but what's your favorite memory from tournament time that when you were back in playing?
Well, I told you the whole Charlotte, North Carolina story, which was crazy. That was, we should have been at the hotel resting, but we were out trying to live the life in Charlotte. But the other memory I had was we got to the arena and we had to go through metal detectors. And we're like, why we got to go through the metal detectors? What's going on? And they were like, oh, the president's coming. President Bill Clinton is coming to the game, and he was the governor of Arkansas. And we was playing Arkansas. And we was like, fuck Arkansas. fuck the president. We about to kick the shit out. I mean, I remember we was in our warm-ups ready to go. Like, oh, so the nation is against us. The president is coming. Like, everybody's like that us versus everybody thing. That really like sunk in. We was in the metal detectors like, so Bill Clinton coming to cheer against us. Bro, it's a different vibe when the president ain't rocking with you. Like you like, oh, if we needed anything to play for, we got it now. Okay, Bill's here to cheer for Arkansas. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
That's
And
incredible.
we were young, and you don't really need to get up for the Final Four. But man, Secret Service everywhere, and we like the enemies. Like we could ruin the president's day if we go on and handle business. Like, oh, let's get it. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could stand up there in the skybox, but he can't get out here and play. He just gonna sit here and watch. Whatever we do is what we do. And I just remember like Damon going around the locker room high-fiving everybody, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Dog, we was in the trenches for real. That was so much fun. And of course, when the game started, all that goes out of your head. But I just remember that moment, finding out that we had to get to the arena early, get patted down, go through metal detectors, all because the president was coming to cheer for Arkansas. And that was fun, man. That was a lot of fun.
Giving me 2001 World Series vibes with Arizona Diamondbacks versus the New York Yankees. The whole country rooting for the D-backs. Just a little bit extra kick there, and it's always us for some reason. It's always the Arizona teams. I'm starting to realize. But Kevin teased it real quick. Corey, we're gonna get you out of here, but first, can we get a score prediction for tomorrow's matchup versus Akron?
Arizona should get to 85 points in their sleep, and they need to hold those guys to around 65, 70. So call it 85, 70, Cats by 15 in a perfect world. I'd love to see guys connecting on shots because the shoot around that you get on that court is like 45 minutes, and coaches just let you get up shots. But in between Friday and Sunday, having established a rhythm, seeing the ball go through the hoop in that gym, you're going to need to make shots, Arizona advancing to the Sunday game. So they got to get to 85. You don't want to grind out tough to score night because you're going to feel that way. If you get past out of that first round game, you're like, damn, we got to come out here and go through this again. But if the shots are falling, you carry that momentum into the second game. So 85-70 Arizona.
He's Corey Williams. You can find him on the McHale Madness podcast once a week here on PHNX Sports' YouTube channel. Went live yesterday at 7 p.m. Go check that out. Saul Bookman, Corey Williams, breaking down U of A's matchup versus Akron tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Corey. And happy holidays on this fine first day of the March Madness tournament.
Thanks. Best day of the year. You guys take it easy.
Williams, you know where to find him, McHale Madness podcast. Kevin, we're going to dive into that, kind of look at some more of the strengths and weaknesses of this Akron team right after the break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast.
Real quick though, Damon, before we get into that break, I wanted to ask you what your favorite answer from Corey was, because I thought him saying "F the president" was wild, and it was also very good. It was maybe the best part of all that, because learning the president is rooting against you is indeed crazy scenes. But yeah, like Damon said, let's get to that after this quick break. Well, Damon Dog, I for one, I know that our guys over there are doing a 24-hour stream, but part of that 24-hour stream should be headed over to our good friends over at Carol Royce. Carol Royce team will help you get into your first home, whether it's your first home, your dream home, just an in-between, whether you're doing real estate for any different variety of reasons. Carol Royce team has you exactly where you need to be. They have the best lenders in the game to help you with your finances. They can even help you set goals, help you achieve whatever kind of financial and life dreams you got over there. They will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. If Carol Royce cannot get your home sold for the exact price that she guarantees she'll get it sold for, she'll pay you the difference. Considering a cash offer, don't settle for one. Get up to 6 of the best offers with at least 100% of the market value, or Carol will pay the difference. Call Carol Royce today at 480-776-5231, or visit Carol online at carolroyceteam.com and tell them PHNX sent you. That's carolroyceteam.com. Terms and conditions apply. Also, Carol Royce team, maybe the nicest set of people in the entire valley. I mean, they came into our office trying to educate us about just how important it is to own a home and have your own real estate. And if you do not have a home, you are, not to put any panic out there, but you are kind of falling behind in this economy. So check out CarolRoyceTeam.com today.
Kevin, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Arizona softball matching up against GCU in Phoenix up here and took them down, Kevin, in extra innings. 5 runs in the top of the 8th inning to beat GCU. You might have missed out on that, but you don't have to miss out on, not going to the softball, seeing Arizona softball in general. Arizona playing a homestand against ASU here. 3-game homestand up in Tempe. If you're in Tucson, if you're up in the Valley, you can get your tickets through Game Time. GameTime.co is going to be that website you're going to want to get to. It's the best place to buy tickets for any sort of event, whether that's a sporting event, comedy, play, and a damn opera, Kevin. You ever been to the opera?
I haven't. I have not. I want to go to Broadway, though. Broadway is kind of close.
Yeah, Broadway's definitely on Game Time. Absolutely. Anything that your heart can think of, Game Time has, and they have tickets that they're selling for. At the absolute cheapest price that you'll find available on the market. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for 20% off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
We really work with some obnoxious people, Damon. We really do. We work with some of the most obnoxious humans maybe on planet Earth.
I would love to know what Max Simpson thinks about the ASU crew derailing my ad read with our fine sponsors that pay their hard-earned dollars for us to rep them and give our best effort on the podcast. Meanwhile, Eric Ruby, Anthony Totri, and the rest of the PHNX Sun Devils clowns doing their thing.
Can I be honest with you? When your team is not in the tournament and you have to do a 24-hour stream, you really kind of sink to some low lows to make everybody feel exactly the way you feel. You know what I mean? And when your team is as worthless as their team is, and our team is actually playing games that, are worth a damn, of course you're going to want to make a joke out of it because your team is a joke and our team is serious. And so you want to feel that your team is serious. So let's just be on the same tier for today, right?
Fair.
Anyway, after that.
It is their biggest game of their season.
It's
Kevin.
the Super Bowl. Every game Arizona plays for the rest of the year is a Super Bowl.
But especially the first round matchup, like you've never seen a fan base unite with something that has nothing to do with them, like ASU fans, like Glenn here in the chat, uniting against Arizona basketball tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful. The Kumbaya moment. Kevin, all beef within the fan base out the door. Everybody just joins hands for the moments that are so important to this fan base, and that is Arizona playing a basketball game that ASU has nothing to do with because they are on their couch at home.
Well, shall we talk about that basketball game that Arizona is actually going to participate in, Damon? Because Arizona plays Akron tomorrow at 4:35 p.m. on True TV. Damon knows. I got my guy Jalen Rose on the call on that one. The first ever Jalen, by the way, for those that don't know. Let's go ahead and look at Akron here. Team preview. If you saw our bracket breakdown, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. We did a full possible route to the Final Four for Arizona in that video, breaking down all the different matchups. Akron, obviously, as the first round matchup, was one of those matchups. 17-1 in conference, Damon Dog. Extremely dominant in the MAC. They've actually won their last 21 out of 22 games. I don't know if it's in a row, but I do know that they have some of the 10-game win streak and maybe the sixth longest in the country, I believe. Top 66 in offense, top 200 in defensive rating. Tempo, one of the fastest teams in the nation at 16th. But as Corey said, that is just a Big 12 jog. And strength of schedule, 277th. They have not played Keith Sweat. Nobody.
I will say, Kevin, you reminded me of my favorite part of the Corey Williams interview, and that's when we bring up, like, I brought up, like, the tempo basically, and just because he was mentioning how they're going to want to slow it down. Akron's going to want to slow Arizona down, milk the clock, and make this a fast game, right? And I think that conventionally that is the way in which upsets typically happen is contrasting play styles, the opposing team making the higher seeded team uncomfortable. That being said, like, Corey felt that Akron's best method of victory and what they will do is come out and kind of change up the way that they've played all season long, because they're not running with Big 12 teams. they're running with MAC teams. And I felt like his kind of like, we're here, you're here breakdown of that was pretty special, Kevin. But yeah, we do have some strengths to get into for this Akron
We
team.
do.
What are they good at? So we'll take a peek at that here.
Bang, fast tempo.
We mentioned their fast tempo, Kevin. They are one of the most up-tempo teams in the entire country, 16th out of 364. Moving on to their perimeter shooting, Akron is a very, very good perimeter shooting team. Hold on with me for a second.
They're also very efficient inside the arc as well. Their offense as a whole, they know how to take smart shots. They don't really play out of themselves very often. And that's kind of like what Corey was saying in our interview with him about how you have to take them out of what they're used to doing because their offense is so effective in the MAC that you have to make them try something different. You have to force them into something that they're uncomfortable with. And I think that's going to be huge for Arizona in this one, who has struggled to defend the perimeter, especially, I would say, elite individual perimeter shooters at times, more so than an entire team, Damon. Because I think we've seen over the course of this season, over the course of the 30 games that have been played so far, right, that Arizona, I've been strong about this all season. I don't think Arizona has a three-point defense problem. I think that, we've talked about this before. One player, if they can get hot against Arizona, can really skew the scales there, right? I feel like if you go back and look at those games where Arizona got torched, air quotes, from behind the three, it's really one guy carrying the load for that team from the three, and then Arizona kind of forcing him to continue to be hot, right? I think that, Arizona and Tommy Lloyd love to play the numbers. College basketball players don't shoot very well compared to, obviously, NBA guys, and I think that you're kind of betting on them to miss, right? So I think perimeter shooting is definitely a strength for Akron, and it kind of plays into what Corey was talking about earlier, that Arizona wants to force them out of what they're used to doing.
3-point percentage, they are 49th in the country, Kevin, 36.6% as a team. They are 40th in three-pointers being point distribution as part of their overall score in the country. 38.1% of all of their points come from three-pointers. And then to that depth aspect on the bottom there, Kevin, in bench minutes, they're at 39%, which is 29th in the country, making them one of the deepest teams in the entire country as well. But that's another thing, and I think that even plays more into the conference aspect of things than the tempo necessarily, Kevin. Is no way that depth is on the level of Arizona. Like I'm sorry, maybe those bench players, maybe they can kind of be the determining factor of what helps Akron be the best team in the MAC. But when you're going up against a team like Arizona with the talent level that Arizona has on their roster, Kevin, I don't think that the 6 through 10 men on an Akron team are moving the needle against Arizona. So, while that's one of their strengths on paper, I think it's, kind of nullified by the fact that there's no way that their bench is able to keep up with this Arizona team, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Damon Dog, all the way on that. And I think that, what really is important when you talk about Akron's depth is their experience, right? I think they have 8 of their 9 top rotational players are either juniors or seniors. Damon, they have a lot of experience on that roster, and during the tournament, if you're an underdog, that's something that you got to lean on, right? Games that, Akron's not played in a lot of very important games, but they have played in a lot of games that are important to Akron. For example, they've been running through the MAC very often recently, and they're not strange to a comeback either, Damon. So part of that depth, I think, is their experience that they can lean on as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at those weaknesses now, Kevin. Akron team weaknesses, height/size, I think is a big one. They are bottom 5 in average height in the entire country, Kevin. Arizona, obviously sporting Henri Veesaar, over 7 feet tall. Tobe Awaka, only 6'8", but plays, I'd say, bigger than that. So yeah, Kevin, I think that that's a big aspect that Arizona is going to be able to take advantage of tomorrow. You have Carter Bryant, who's extremely tall for this Akron team. You have, a squad you have a guy like, Trey Townsend, who I think this matchup suits, right? Because he is a little bit of a shorter 4. So, Trey Townsend maybe isn't affected as much by the size that we see against like a Houston team, right? Where Houston's just a little bit too athletic for Trey Townsend. Akron may be more of a suited matchup for his style of play and wanting to get it into the post. And yeah, I think you could see a decent Trey Townsend game as well because of that tomorrow, Kevin. How much do you think the height/size impacts impacts this game.
I think it's a huge portion of this game, Damon. I think when you look at Arizona's roster, size, almost no matter who Arizona's playing against, size is not something that they're going to have a disadvantage on.
Mm-hmm.
Usually Arizona has a size advantage, especially because they are so long and lengthy at every position almost. But I also want to mention that most of Akron's contributors, I think, are no taller than 6'3". I think I was reading that this morning. I think I was reading that in AZ Does a Swarm, actually. But most of their contributors are no taller than 6'3", Damon Dog. I think their tallest player is 6'8", which Arizona is going to should be able to move Akron around at their discretion, Damon. I think I think Corey was right that we should see the bigs absolutely feast in this game. This should not be a Caleb Love scoring a gajillion points. I mean, unless he's just on fire, right? This should not be a game where Caleb Love, Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, Carter Bryant have to really do their thing in this matchup. But I think that this is a game where you're going to see Henri Veesaar, Tobe Awaka, Trey Townsend really kind of dictate the pace and dictate the where this game is played, Damon Dog. I think that Arizona should have no problem out physicaling and out toughing Akron in this matchup. And you had their next weakness here as free throw attempts. They're one of the lowest ratio of field goal attempts to free throw attempts per KenPom in the country.
Yeah.
And you also have strength of schedule here as well, because obviously 277th, you're playing a bunch of MAC teams. You're just not going to have the top end battle tests that Arizona does this year. I think, Damon, again, I've said this stat a couple times this week, but I think it really puts it into perspective. I saw it on Twitter, and at this point I've forgotten who I have grabbed it from, so I do apologize. But Tommy Lloyd's Arizona teams have played 28 non-power conference schools in games that have hit at least 70 possessions, Damon. And in those games where they have scored or they have possessed at least 70 possessions across the game, they've won by an average of 30.5 points, Damon Dog. So I feel like, again, no one is overlooking Akron. Like, that is the opponent that is on the docket. That is the team Arizona is going to face tomorrow at 4:35 tip-off on True TV, right? But the facts are what the facts are. And what the facts are is that Akron has no business being in this game with Arizona when it's all said and done. And if they are, it's on Arizona at the end of the day. And we referenced it last night on McHale Madness. If Arizona, God forbid, were to be upset in this game, there's nobody to blame except for the players in that locker room and the coaching staff that accompanies them, because like I said, Akron cannot hang with Arizona on paper, on film, and hopefully on court tomorrow, Damon.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. I'm with you. You mentioned like that their rotation largely being full of guards. Just doing some quick research here. They have James Okonkwo, I should say, who's kind of their backup big here. He's 6'8" from England, by the way, Kevin. They also have Amani Lyles, and they have Josiah Harris, who are both 6'7" and probably those primary front court players that Akron is gonna be given the most of their minute share to. And those guys have a big task at hand. I would say, Kevin, feel a little bit bad for those fellas.
Some may say they have the largest challenge in front of them, Damon Dog. No, I think that, when breaking down this game,
they're going to get bullied. Those guys that I just named are going to get bullied, Kevin. You got Tobe Awaka, who's, stronger than an ox.
He's Thanos, apparently.
Yeah, Thanos. I love it. You have Henri Veesaar, who just likes dunking on people for a living. I don't see that going very well for Akron tomorrow. And like Corey said, I love his point about kind of banking the guard play.
Yeah.
And banking those the guards needing to, really carry the load. Hopefully tomorrow it's just kind of a matter of throwing it into Trey Townsend, throwing it into Henri Veesaar, throwing it into Tobe Awaka, and letting them just go to work. But I will say this, Kevin, we tried to do that all game versus Princeton, and it shot us in the foot. So here's what I also want to say with that. Tommy Lloyd, I'm looking into the camera now. I'm begging you. If that is the mentality and that is the game plan, I understand it. I just said that would be mine right now. Right, Kevin? Corey just said that would be his. Like, I think we're all on the same page there. But if it's not working and Akron, it's playing into into Akron's hands, please switch it up. Please give more responsibility to those guards and let them go to work and let them get downhill, because that's when this team is at their best. I'm trying to think of it more from like a long-term standpoint, because I think Arizona can beat Akron without necessarily needing that factor, Kevin. But I ideally would like to see the front court kind of dominate tomorrow against an undersized Akron team that just really shouldn't, be in a game with Arizona.
No, not at all in any way, Damon. And I also thought this was interesting too. Because we're gonna preview more Akron on the other half of this break, but I wanted to say Corey's underrating Liberty Bibberty. By the way, he is.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Maybe we can get Corey on for second round if Liberty is
Liberty
potentially is the opponent there.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll get him on and he can gloat about how he just said Oregon is going to handle business and maybe they do so. But
yeah, Dana Altman, please do not make a fool out of me. We are going to wrap up our Akron preview on the other side of this break. It's the AZ Wildcats podcast. Don't you go anywhere. Damon Dog, one of my favorite spots in the entirety of this here valley, and honestly in the entirety of the nation, is Circle K, America's thirst stop, Damon. And if I know that Damon looks down on me because I'm not an exclusive Inner Circle member, right? I'm just in that first tier of 3 cents off per day, and Damon's in that 5 cents off per gallon tier of the Inner Circle, which you can work yourself up to if you download the app and join today.
That's what us premium members think about you non-premium members. The only way to get better,
crazy,
Kevin,
is to go to Circle K and fill up your tank,
sign up
buy
for the Inner
some
Circle,
snacks,
and just keep filling those rewards.
Exactly. And if you haven't joined yet, you can even get a bigger discount. You can get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, folks, with our friends over at Circle K. Join the Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply. Participating locations, visit CircleK.com for more details. I also want to mention that March 27th, April 10th, and April 24th, Inner Circle members only can save 40 cents off per gallon. That's an insane amount of money to be saving on gas.
Up.
So mark those dates down and go over to Circle K on those days.
That price really adds up, Kevin. And I'll tell you another thing that adds up. When you go and buy a truck from Sanderson Ford in the month of Truck Month, we're a little bit more focused here on March Madness, but our guys at Sanderson Ford, they are fully focused on selling as many trucks to the fine people of the Valley as possible. And it's not just trucks. They're including the Broncos and the Broncos Sports in said deal.
Sheesh.
Choose from the entire lineup, Kevin: Mavericks, Rangers, F-150s, Super Duties, or the Broncos, like I already named. And you can save up to $11,000 on the Ford F-150 trucks plus 1.9 financing. Save up to $4,500 on Bronco Sports plus 2.9 financing. Save up to $4,000 on Ranger trucks plus 3.9 financing. Shop Sanderson Ford for the no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense sales approach that they take with all of their customers. They treat you like family. We feel like they're family. We went out and visited them. They're great people out there, and they want to get you into the truck of your dreams. It's Truck Month. Head on over to Sanderson Ford. 2024 models finance offers for 36 months OAC through Ford Credit. Discounts include Ford rebates, Sanderson discounts, plus trade assistance and Conquest cash you must qualify for. Offers expire 3/31. It's 11 days, Kevin. Make sure you get on over to Sanderson Ford.
11 days to get you in that F-150 that you've always dreamed of. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest. Max kind of staring us down, and me in particular, while I'm doing my Sanderson read, after what the PHNX Sun Devils crew just did.
Yeah, why aren't you reprimanding them right now?
Shocking to me.
I just want to make sure I heard the Circle K. Did you guys tell the people about today's promo?
You tell them right now.
Today, 2 to 6 p.m., all throughout Arizona, save 25 cents per gallon at Circle K with your Circle membership.
Make sure to do what Max said.
That looked like Max is about to feed you baby bird style. the way that was positioned.
I was scared. I was terrified.
Yeah.
Anytime you get one of the PHNX Rising crew near you and your face, you don't know what don't know what could go down.
You certainly don't, Kevin.
You really don't. But Damon, we have more to talk about with this Akron matchup. We asked Corey who he thought is going to stand out in this game. I wanted to ask you who you think will be the one player that you really think is going to be the guy that maybe be our king of the court tomorrow.
Ooh, king of the court? That's a little bit tougher. I do really like the matchup for Trey Townsend, though, that we keep talking about. I think this is a little bit more of the speed he's used to. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I more just mean to show Kevin that, like,
I mean, he's played against guys at this level for 4 years.
The bigs on Akron are 6'7". Trey Townsend is 6'6".
Yeah.
Like, this is when Trey Townsend has struggled, it's been because, power forwards in the Big 12 have been too much for him, right, to handle. I think that this is a game where, he might feel a little bit more comfortable in. And so I like that. I like that little matchup for him. I think that, he could come out of tomorrow's game with a 15 points, solid efficiency outing. From a player of the game standpoint, I'm going to go with either Henri Veesaar or Tobe Awaka. Here's where I think that there's potential that it doesn't happen. And when I say player of the game, of course, I mean king of the court, Kevin. But I think that there's a chance that they split each other's time too much and they split each other's stats too much. But I do think that, if we could culminate the center into one player, that would be my pick for king of the court.
If we could make a transformer or
yeah.
a Power Ranger, what were the things called? The things Power Rangers we get into in the Mighty Morphin Mega. You know what I'm trying to say, right? You know what I'm referencing, right?
Like the big dinosaurs and stuff that they'd get into.
Yeah, they would all have a part of it.
Yeah, they the big robot machine that they would control.
Yeah, if you could Ready Player One yourself, and it would just be Tobe Awaka, Henri Veesaar, and Trey Townsend in one big mech. I think that's what we should be as our X factor of the game. I agree with you. I agree with Corey, but I would like to be a little bit different in my take here. So I'll be a little specific. I think this is a Carter Bryant game. I think this is a Carter Bryant confidence check kind of game. I think he comes out, maybe hits a couple threes early, and starts really feeling himself. And I think Carter Bryant really is impressive in this game against Akron. I think Trey Townsend will look good. I think Henri Veesaar will look good. Honestly, all the front court, like you said, Voltron, Trent of Berkeley. I appreciate it. I think that's the end. Isn't that
Avengers.
Isn't that isn't Voltron isn't that a bad guy?
Oh, wait, no, Ultron is Avengers.
We don't know ball. Trent, you're trying to help us, and we don't know ball over here. We apologize, but what was I even saying? I was talking about front court. Oh yeah, I think this is a Carter Bryant game.
Oh yeah, Voltron is when they all combine together.
That's the Voltron?
Yeah.
Damn, that has such a
Trent knows ball. I can't believe we doubted our guy Trent. Me and you don't know Power Rangers.
We don't know.
Talking about,
I just tried to make a reference that I don't understand, but that's
why I know.
That's
and
why
then
we have Trent
were
in the
trying
chat.
to be like, oh, but isn't that Avengers?
But I knew that Trent was in the chat, and I knew that
Trent's
Trent
got
would
us.
save us.
Trent's got us.
I knew
Kevin.
that. But like I was saying, I think Carter Bryant is going to have himself a game. I think he's been playing against really, really, really tough teams, as the rest of Arizona has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's still shown flashes of a guy that could go in the top 15 in the NBA draft this year, right, Damon? So I think against a team like Akron, he kind of puts all those tools he's gathered into his tool shed and his toolbox over the course of conference play to use, and he dominates the Akron Zips. I think Carter Bryant puts up 16, 6, and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you think that's good enough for king of the court?
I think against Akron it will be. I think it'll be a pretty spread out production performance. So I think 16 points and a good amount of rebounds and maybe a block and a steal will do it for you if you're Carter Bryant.
There you have it. Carter Bryant versus Trey Townsend. That's the Kevin versus Damon matchup tomorrow.
I mean, honestly, Damon, preseason everybody knew that during March Madness it was going to be the Carter Bryant Trey Townsend show. Everybody knew. I think you and I were maybe first on it. I think when I got hired here in August, you and I were talking about, hey, have you seen that Trey Townsend guy? Have you seen that Carter Bryant guy? I think that they're going to take over in the month of March.
For sure.
Just saying.
Kevin, before we get out of here, why don't we run down some of the scores that are happening here?
Yes.
So far, it is currently 12:53 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Right now, we have Auburn up 10 on Alabama State at halftime, Kevin, in their
Only
matchup.
10?
Only 10, and it was 3 about 45 seconds ago.
I did
Auburn
get a
hit
text.
a couple threes at the end of the half here.
I did get a text from my guy Jacob Spalding, and he just said TF Auburn ? And I was like, oh, what's going on in that game?
Yeah, it was a dogfight as of about a minute ago, but they kind of pulled out here at the end. We'll see if they can keep that momentum in the second half. Creighton beating Louisville, taking a big stomp on our Louisville Elite Eight prediction. Kevin, not great for the boys here.
I've never met a Blue Jay that I liked, man.
As we move forward, the Wisconsin Nightmare is still alive. Wisconsin beats Montana by 20.
That game was close for a while.
It was at halftime. But yeah, the nightmare that is the Wisconsin Badgers and the Elite Eight is still on the table. Obviously, good problems to have. Houston might not lose a game the rest of the season. They're currently doubling up Southern Illinois' score. I think it's Southern Illinois, right?
Damon, I have breaking news. I have some big-time Arizona Wildcats breaking news right now.
Okay.
Corey Williams has just texted me. He said, and I quote, "Liberty finna get dragged." 3 laughing emojis. Bet you a Circle K drinking a honey bun.
Damn.
And so I think
Big
I
stakes.
think I'm putting down my bet for a Circle K drink and a honey bun with
I think you
Corey
have to.
Williams. And we are going to we're gonna bet on, I'm gonna bet on Liberty. He's gonna bet on the Ducks, and hopefully Dana Altman chokes and I get my honey bun and a drink.
That'd be one of the best tasting honey buns in the entire
Ooh,
world.
Revenge is always best served sweet, and a honey bun is damn sweet. You know what I mean?
Yep, there you have it. Purdue beats High Point. High Point gave it a great game, Kevin. Looked like maybe another Purdue.
Told you we dodged that bullet, man.
Looked like it might have been another Purdue, first round, second round choke fest, as they've, kind of been accustomed to doing recently. But they pull it out at the end and outplay High Point here. And Kevin, this is the interesting one, and this game just started. McNeese is up 10 on Clemson early. Will Wade took the NC State job.
Bracket be damned.
But he's still working hard for those Mustangs. McNeese State
Let's
up 10 early.
go.
Hopefully they pull that one out on Clemson. We'll
Get
see.
Clemson out of
Yeah.
here.
Clemson's nasty.
I hate Clemson.
Yeah, I know. They ruined us last year. Had no business being in that game with Arizona, but they did anyways. Kevin, speaking of stakes, you have another game that potentially has some big stakes on it.
All right, this has been
later
the Easy
today.
Wildcats podcast, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Kevin and I, if you watched earlier in the week, we are doing a Survivor round by round bet. Only rules: no top 1 through 4 seeds in the first 2 rounds. Can't pick the same team twice. Kevin picked his Mizzou Tigers, his hometown Mizzou Tigers.
I sure did.
Over the Drake Bulldogs.
Yeah, I sure did.
And since that moment, and Kevin and I both attest to this, the Drake hype, literally since the moment
Once
Kevin
we
picked
freaking
Missouri,
got off air, man.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, once we got off air,
I didn't see anything
it was
about
just
Drake
Drake is
beforehand.
awesome.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Bulldogs.
And now it's
Mizzou
like,
sucks.
this is the team to
Easiest
beat.
upset pick of the whole
Yeah.
tournament. What are you doing if you're not picking Drake? Get your mind out of the gutters if you're not picking Drake. Like I can't. I'm sick to my stomach. The pick is in and it's locked in, and I feel like I might have taken Austin Reeves over Wemby or something. I don't know, man. It's a tough, hard knock life for me right now.
I think we might be at the spot, Kevin, where we don't have anything better than the CLB Heart, so that might be what we're just doing. And the CLB Heart is on the line
That's an
today.
awful one.
It's on the line today as Missouri takes on Drake. Kevin, the biggest Missouri fan you've ever seen in your entire life.
MIZZOU.
4:35.
Please.
If you want to watch that game and hit Kevin up and let him know, get in his ear a little bit if it's close. Just make him sweat it,
I will be sweating it.
And then, of course, I have my game as well, 1:35 today. Gonzaga taking on Georgia right after this
You and
show.
I can get to watch that probably together here.
Yeah, we will. And Gonzaga, hefty favorites over Georgia. Feeling good about that one. But, yep, those are the
Can
those
I be
are the
nasty?
best.
Can I be rude?
Yeah, sure.
Go Dogs.
That's fine.
Go Dogs. I wasn't like that until I got scared.
And
I
guess-
got real
hey.
scared, and now I'm like, go Dogs.
And guess who Drake is?
No!
The Bulldogs.
I keep doing this to myself.
Drake is also the Bulldogs, brother.
Oh, I keep doing this to
You
myself.
did do that. That was a self-inflicted
Why do I
Plaxico
keep doing
Burress
this?
style gunshot
No!
wound right there.
Plaxico, no!
Shot himself in the leg.
This is awful.
You heard it here
folks.
first. Kevin
This
said,
is
"Go
so
Dogs."
bad. I didn't say go like dogs that also are bulls. I said just go dogs. Like go dogs. You know what I mean?
that Drake.
No, those are dogs. Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
They're in Iowa.
Whoa, you know what I mean? Like
They're
this,
in Iowa, so they're like dags
Yep.
or something really white.
Go Dags.
Yeah.
Go Dags.
Yeah. But yeah, there you have it. Big bets, big stakes on the line. If you're watching with our streaming partners, head on over to gophnx.com. We're going to wrap up this fine edition of the Easy Wildcats podcast here, one day pre-first round of the NCAA tournament, Arizona taking on Akron. And we're just getting to live it up today, Kevin. That's one of the best things in the world. I'll tell you what's not one of the best things in the world. When you have to wait until 4:35 tomorrow for your game, because as far as first round games, it's one of the latest matchups that you could possibly get. And you get to just kind of wait it out, but also just have in the back of your mind, just have that anxiety building, Kevin.
Yes.
You'd almost rather want to get it out of the way early. I'd say first day, middle of the slate is probably ideal. You don't want to be first. You want a lot more games to pass by. I thought when Arizona lost to Princeton in the first round, it actually kind of happened at a great time because if you remember correctly, I think it was on the first day and it was in the middle of the day. And then Purdue lost. It was either later that day or later that night, I believe, to Fairleigh Dickinson. So then all of the pressure was off Arizona because not only like we were a 2 that lost to a 15, a 1 lost to a 16 after. So then that was all the rage, and we got to skate by a little bit, but obviously still felt horrible for us. But it's nice not being the national joke of the world, Kevin. So
Damon,
not the best slate time tomorrow, but it's fine. We're gonna be all right. It's not gonna matter to these cats.
the kids will be all right as Damon knocks on wood. And I wanted to give you some breaking news, Damon, that this is breaking personal news for you.
Okay.
At some point in the distant future, maybe an NFL playoff future.
Oh, I did see this.
Yeah, breaking news. Bo Brock told the 24-hour streamers that are rudely yelling behind us that the Cardinals crew, including Damon Dog, will do a 24-hour stream if the Cardinals win a playoff game next season. Just win a playoff game. ASU had to win a whole damn tournament style thing.
I think that's fair. I mean, the Cardinals winning a playoff.
I'm just
game
saying.
I
know it's freaking hard. I'm just saying that, you know, I was trying to set you up to see how you feel about maybe do you feel the bar's a little low for a 24-hour stream there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like maybe
honestly.
a 12-hour stream for one playoff win.
Like, what if they run into like Sam Darnold in the first round, like the Rams
you know
did
what
last
I mean?
year or something?
And it's like, are we really celebrating defeating Sam Darnold in round 1 of a playoff, and then maybe losing in the round 2, and then you're doing 24-hour stream celebration? That sounds kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Actually, I do think that is cause for a
Go
little...
win the damn conference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm excited for your Cardinals 24-hour stream, Damon Dog.
So you think you're on the record? You think that that's going to happen? You believe in the Cardinals playoff?
I'm on the record
chances
as
next
wanting
season?
it to happen. I'm on the record as wanting to see you
I love
and
the Cardinals
Bo
to win a
and
playoff game.
Johnny for 24 hours.
Oh my god!
Are the airwaves even ready?
The world's biggest drama queen. 2 hours into a 24-hour stream would be just unbelievable. This guy, Kevin, we're talking about the same guy who literally could not get himself to take a cold shower at the Indianapolis Combine this season.
What do you mean?
This year? Well, we went out to Indy and we had cold water in our Airbnb, and because Bo Brock, of course, not thinking, just took a long 45-minute shower, got himself nice and relaxed, put some cucumber spears on his eyes, had a mask going while the shower was running. I think Bo might have even he had like a wrinkly shirt and he just like kind of just let it steam it.
He's
in the
like
room.
in the bathroom ironing out his shirt, whistling a tune.
And then all of the hot water left our Airbnb. Me and Shane Diefenbach, we just conquered the elements and sucked it up and got to business and said, hey, we got a job to do later today, right? We got to go get our credential. And then here's Johnny sitting in the living room with his towel wrapped around his waist going like, do you think it's going to warm up in 3 minutes? And then we see Johnny just stroll into the convention center about 45 minutes after the rest of us because he waited for water and just couldn't take a cold shower.
I like a cold shower every once in a while.
I don't, but
I actually like an
sometimes
ice
you got to
bath.
do what you got to do, Kevin.
I think
but
ice baths are great.
I think that proves to you that like one thing goes wrong on the 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
Now the whole rest of the stream is just about
how do we get Johnny a coffee? Or...
he can't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. A separate topic though, Damon. Are you an ice bath guy?
No, but I wouldn't. I kind of
like ice baths.
I wish I was a cold plunge guy, but I feel like the barrier to entry from a monetary standpoint to the cold plunge is
lower than you think. Lower than you think.
Well,
Real quick.
wait.
Wait. Real quick, Damon. I think this is a topic for overtime, Damon. Let's take this to OT.
Mm.
And we're in overtime, ladies and gentlemen. But no, Damon, dog. I think cold plunges, the barrier for entry is very low. No free ads, but there is a place in Tucson specifically that is specialized in this thing, and the barrier for entry is not that expensive. And you can go in, you can have like an hour session or something like that, and you can sauna as much as you want, you can cold plunge as much as you want, and they have like a massage table as much as you want. So the barrier for
that sounds kind of expensive though.
But it's not.
What are we talking price standpoint wise?
I don't know I forget the exact price, but I remember me and four of my guys went in college, and it was enough for 4 guys in college to be able to afford and go like every once in a while. So I know that's not very specific, but it's affordable.
I just feel like cold plunges are oftentimes at like Lifetime Fitnesses where you have to have like a $200 a month membership or like a 5-star hotel or like
Joe Rogan's backyard.
Optima. You don't know if you know the Optima apartments
don't.
here in Scottsdale. They're the ones by Fashion Square that have all the plants. All
those
over
are
the
very
place.
nice looking.
Yeah,
Very
so like
expensive looking.
I feel like that it's all situations like that. And I'm not saying that these people are like paying money every time that they go cold plunge, but it's just accessible to them because they pay premium prices to have access to things like that. Whereas like, you know, there's little old me just, you know, bumping and grinding, just doing my thing on a daily basis. And
Just jetting and jiving.
yeah, you know how it is. I'm just happy with my hot tub I got at my my apartment.
I'm not a big
Kevin,
hot
but
tub guy.
you're-
I would much. I'm not anti. No, listen, brother. Hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm not anti. I'm just not like a diehard fan of hot tubs. I would rather like sauna. You know what I mean?
Okay, saunas are electric.
I'm a huge sauna guy.
I am a big
Massive
sauna guy.
sauna guy. Couldn't be a bigger sauna
But
guy.
I might be the biggest hot tub guy
That's
you'll
awesome.
ever find.
That's great. That's awesome.
I really feel like a real wrench was thrown into the marriage of this podcast. Not a big hot tub guy. I mean,
hey, I enjoy a hot tub.
you might as well just say, "Hey, Damon, I hate you." Like that's what I heard right now when you said that.
Well, I'm sorry you heard that, Damon, but I don't hate you, and I also don't hate hot tubs. I think hot tubs are just fine. I think they're in every especially in Arizona, brother. Are you really getting in a hot tub that often?
Yeah.
Wow. I am not.
Nighttime right now is perfect hot tub.
No, that's true. That's true. I'm
It's like
saying,
60
but I'm saying you
degrees.
have like 3 months, 4 months to use a hot tub out of the whole year in Arizona.
No, more like 9.
9?
Yeah, just not the summer.
So like April to like literally end of November.
I'll tell you what, there's almost nothing better than getting in a hot tub when it's cold outside. Seeing your breath while you're in the tub.
That is true. I got in a hot tub in Denver once when it was snowing, and then I got out of it.
And that probably was the best hot tub experience of
awesome.
your entire life.
It was
Kevin.
awesome, and I will say that once you get out, though, you kind of want to die.
Well, that's kind of like where you convince yourself it's like a cold plunge.
No, you're actually not wrong.
That's what I do.
You're not wrong.
I'm like, here's my cold plunge time.
Yeah, man. It's just breathing. Like cold tubs are just breathing.
Yeah.
It's literally just breathing. You just gotta like breathe like intentionally and you know the one I use had a rubber ducky in there floating around, and so I would just like squeeze the stuff out of the rubber ducky. And yeah, I mean,
Cool.
It was a good time, man. I love a cold plunge. I think a cold plunge might be. No, it's not. I'm wilding. Let's get out of here. I was gonna say a cold plunge is better than a hot tub. It is not better than a hot tub.
That is.
You cannot chill in a cold
Talk
plunge.
about a cold take, figuratively and literally, Kevin.
That take took the coldest of plunges, and it ain't coming back up.
It did.
It might
It
be
absolutely
drowning down
did.
there, Damon.
We have a great day ahead of us, Kevin. We have a phenomenal day of college basketball. I will be gambling entirely too much money on it.
Whoop, whoop.
Kevin, you will not be partaking. You told me last night. We're
I've
going to
been
see if we can convince you
I've been
off air,
keeping it
though.
very responsible with my gambles recently. I will probably be betting on tomorrow's stuff because Arizona plays tomorrow, but I'm trying to keep it light, keep it
Maybe
tight.
a
You know what I
little
mean?
Drake emotional hedge here.
Jesus. No. Can't even bring myself to do that. Won't.
Okay.
No, we are all in on MIZZOU. Go Tigers.
There you have it. We will be back tomorrow for a post-game edition of the AZ Wildcats podcast, talking a W against Akron, hopefully. Until then, I am Damon Dog. That's CAWG. He is Kevin Thomas. That's Kevo Post, KEVOPOSTS. Follow us at PHNX_Wildcats. Follow Corey at, what is Corey
At
Hoops?
College Corey.
College
so at
Corey.
College COREY.
Yeah, follow at College Corey for Corey Williams and all of his analysis and breakdown of Arizona basketball. Yeah, check out our PHNX Sun Devils live stream. Even if you're a Wildcat, head on over there. Maybe
Go
talk,
antagonize them.
Yeah, go talk a
They're a
little
captive
crap.
audience. They have to be there for 24 hours. So just talk all the great Arizona basketball history that you
ask
want.
them what time their game's at, who
That's
their
a good one.
opponent
That's a good one,
is.
Damon. Yeah.
Stuff like that, funny stuff, and then leave a like on the video. That is
Totri just said bear down.
I heard that.
Totri
did
just
say
said
bear
Anthony
down.
Totri just said bear down, go Cats, down the Zips. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anthony Totri, honorary Wildcat fan tomorrow. He told me off air, said he's rooting for us. So there it is, Kevin. Thank you so much for everybody who watched. We will be back tomorrow, Kevin. Until then, peace, bear down.
And go Cats, y'all. Let's get a W against Akron tomorrow.
We all city like the mayor.